In the next few minutes, I want to share with you a sentence that could radically change your life in a surprisingly short amount of time. If you feel like you're just trudging through and that life is constantly bombarding you with things, and at times it's overwhelming, then this video really is for you. Now, it's not just about glib and faceless positivity. What I'm going to give you is actually a tool that you can use to begin to reframe your perspective on what's happening to you and begin to live a more joyous, controlled, fulfilling life. You see, sometimes happiness can feel like it's just, you're standing outside a club and you're not on the list, you ain't getting in, or everybody else seems to be living this wonderful dream life and it's just not happening for you. And this is actually quite normal, but what we're looking to do here is to begin to break this negative loop and this negative feedback that you seem to be getting, and to give yourself the opportunity to think differently, behave differently, and have a different life. And this isn't some grand gesture. We're just going to stick with 10 simple words. You see, this negativity isn't often very glaring. It can just be this subtle nag in the back of your mind that things are just not working out and you feel like you're getting nowhere. Sadly, our inner critic doesn't scream, it whispers. And unfortunately, that whisper can be pretty overwhelming and it can feel loud, but it doesn't have to be that way. Now, the thing is, one of the challenges we have in personal development and self-improvement and personal growth is that a lot of people just go, oh, be positive, be positive. But if your life's really tough at the moment, being positive is just going to feel false. And your brain, and you can spot this. And sadly, if you go down this route, your subconscious and your negative bias is going to fight back. And you could end up in a worse position than you were when you started. So it's not just a case of being positive. We need to work on something that a little more solid, that little more tangible, to begin to chip away at this inner critic, at this negative bias, at that voice in the back of your head that's telling you it ain't so good. And the worst part about it, that voice can actually start convincing you that you're the problem, that you're the issue here. And that, unfortunately, can be a tough nut to crack. But there is good news. You can begin to chip away at that nut. So, first things first. The real aha moments are not normally ones that scream and shout at you. They're often a lot quieter. The turning point in your life could just be something that you start doing or a habit you start developing that doesn't make radical change overnight, but actually makes radical change over a period of time. Very few people change their lives instantly, and those that do are often changed by trauma or massively negative experiences, and that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at shifting your subconscious away from negative bias and an inner critic towards reframing it and making it focus that a lot more on the positive and good things that are going on. Now, these 10 words are what's known as a mantra. Now, mantra is a Sanskrit word from two parts, manas, meaning the mind, and tra, meaning tool. A mantra is effectively a tool for the mind. Now, it may sound a little bit woolly and fluffy and, woo-woo, but there's solid neuroscience that backs it up. You see, we are often prone to negative bias. As I said, our negative bias, our brain is wired for survival. But the cool thing is that you can begin to reframe, rewire, and change this. And one of the most straightforward ways of changing this is to begin to tell yourself things which question and contradict this negative bias to the point where your subconscious starts turning away from here towards this more positive direction. You're not lying to yourself, you're just giving yourself the opportunity to think about things very slightly differently. And that very slight difference can get bigger and bigger and bigger to the fact that it's to the point where it's a big difference from where you were here to where you are now over here. And there's something else to bear in mind is finding the right mantra is absolutely essential. Just telling yourself you're happy when your life simply isn't is not going to work. Your subconscious will fight back. Your logical brain was saying, well, life sucks at the moment. I'm not happy at all. And so you're just effectively lying to yourself, and that's not what we want. So what we're looking at is something that's a lot more real and gives you the opportunity to be slightly imperfect and acknowledge that things aren't so good. Right, so here we are. Enough of all of that. Here's the mantra I want you to fix in your brain. I'm doing my best to make the best of it. Let's just say that again. I'm doing my best to make the best of it. Now, we're not trying to fool ourselves here, but what we're trying to do is two things. Treat ourselves with some compassion and lay down a statement of intent. The idea is to take your day from a test to a journey. It acknowledges your reality while also rewarding your efforts. So let's have a look at it. 2 parts. I'm doing my best. Now this acknowledges that things aren't perhaps going the way you would like them, but you're also telling yourself, you know what? It might not be great, but I'm doing my best here. Now this starts to throw doubt on your negative self-critic and your negative biases. I'm doing my best. And it's a reminder that all you can ever do in any circumstance is your best. And oftentimes we easily forget this. So you're just saying, I'm doing my best. You're acknowledging that maybe things aren't that great. But what you're also doing then is laying down a statement of intent. Make the best of it. Doing my best to make the best of it. And that statement of intent starts to steer the subconscious towards that statement of intent. The brain wants to feel good. The brain wants to feel like it's working towards something positive. It's not just there to protect you, but change can feel like quite a challenge. So what we're trying to do is chip away at that negative self-voice and the inner critic, doing my best, and laying down a statement of intent to make the best of it. I'm doing my best to make the best of it. And when you start putting these things two together, it chips away at your subconscious from both ends, the negative bias and the positive intent. And the idea is to bring those two together to give you more focus on what's going well in your life and the things that you can do to respond more positively to the things that are happening. Now, something to bear in mind that it is going to feel awkward and perhaps a little bit strange to begin with, and your inner critic might start mocking you or doubting you, etc. But please be persistent. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. The more you do this, and the more you do it, the better results that you can get. So here's what I want you to do, is start to think and respond this way with these 10 words. For example, burned your toast in the morning, have some yogurt instead. I'm doing my best to make the best of it. You get a challenging email at work and you don't know quite how to respond. Take a deep breath, just say to yourself, I'm doing my best to make the best of it. And then that very slightly shifts your perspective on what's going on right there. And you can do this in any circumstance. You don't need to say it out loud, but you can take a breath and just say in your mind, I'm doing my best to make the best of it. And this can have radical change in quite a short amount of time. So here's what I recommend. As soon as you get out of bed, start saying this to yourself, even just a handful of times. Say it throughout the day as much as you can, and then say it in the evenings. And if you really, really want to solidify this, get yourself a notebook and write down at the end of the day one thing. And it could just be as little as 10 words. You don't need to write half an essay, just one thing where you did your best to make the best of it. And what we're trying to do here is to create a positive feedback loop. And the more you do this, the more your brain will start to respond to this, and your brain will start to steer in the direction of that more positive feedback loop. Now, this isn't magic. It's what's known as neuroplasticity. It's your brain's ability to adapt. Now, beliefs are often just things that we tell ourselves and repeat to ourselves and begin to ingrain into our subconscious. And your subconscious is programmable. The more you start to tell yourself that you're doing your best to make the best of it, the more your subconscious will start to adapt to this. The more you start looking out for opportunities to say, I'm doing my best to make the best of it. And when you see then the results of you having done the best of it, your brain will start to wire itself again in this direction. And then, like I said, it becomes a positive feedback loop. I mean, there's a lot of science which backs this up. But then those 2 parts of it, though, are I'm doing my best. And that's just being that little bit more compassionate to yourself, that little bit more kind and considerate. I'm doing my best. And then the next bit is then introducing resilience to make the best of it. And when you put those 2 together, it can have massive changes in your life. And doing my best, treating yourself with a little bit of self-care and a little bit of compassion to make the best of it. Giving yourself the opportunity to be resilient, acknowledging that it ain't great, but also then laying down that positive statement of intent. And this, when you really start to get the hang of it, becomes a pattern interrupt. You're interrupting that negative bias and reframing it ever so slightly. And psychologically, this can make big changes quite quickly, but you need to be tenacious. Bear in mind that you need to stick with it. It ain't going to be easy. Life isn't easy. It's ups and downs, and change is just exactly the same. It's not easy, but it's so worthwhile when you can latch onto something simple, run with it, and make that change. So give it a whirl for the next few weeks. Please come back and let me know. It'd be great. Write in the comments below if you've done this or you've done something similar and how well it worked out for you and your own observation. But if it's clicked with you, it's resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. It would be great to have you on board. And please, if you know somebody who's having a hard time, share it with them. Please share this out. I know I'm trying to reach as many people as I can with tools that you can use to begin to change your life. No fluff, no waffle, just the stuff that works. And if you really want to develop more happiness in your life, then I suggest you watch this video up here. It will introduce even more ways of introducing joy and happiness. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.